Hi, Homesick.
Hey, you're right.
Hi, yeah, I'm good, thanks. How are you all?
Well, not too bad.
Got it right, didn't we?
We're all a
So
bit
I think
ill,
we're okay.
but other than that,
You're all a bit ill.
yeah. Parnell's got a sore throat.
Yeah, I'm the most ill.
I think he's
I'm
been
gonna
infecting
claim
the
the
rest
most
of us,
ill.
if I'm honest.
Right.
It's not a competition, but he'd like to think he's winning. But yeah.
Well,
What about you in competitions?
okay, so Homesick, you are a five-piece sort of pop-punky band from Nottingham.
Yeah.
Do you think there's many other pop-punky bands, five-piece in Nottingham that do similar things to you?
Not similar to us. What we found is more pop punk than expected, I would say. There certainly is a scene here. It's not massive for bands like us, but yeah, it's still knocking about. But I'd like to think we offer something different, even if we don't. Cause
I think the five-piece thing's quite like where we're different, because most of the pop punk bands around here are three-piece or four-piece and have a singer who typically would play an instrument or something. But there's more of us.
So do you find it difficult, because I think pop punk's probably not the most accessible genre to most people these days, and actually, funnily enough, Ben, you were in the documentary Nottingham Unsung and you were quite adamant that indie was the kind of overruling genre of Nottingham. So have you kind of found those difficulties whilst you've been a band and that kind of thing?
Well, I don't know. I think it's we find ourselves in a weird position in our band, and we were discussing this the other day actually, where we're kind of our music is at a place where it's kind of just about accessible enough to get by with the kind of like mainstream gigs that are going on and stuff like that, and we've played with all sorts of different kind of indie bands and stuff, and we find ourselves on some quite varied bills throughout our time, so we're not just exclusively playing like underground punk shows and stuff like that, but we still fit in with those kind of things. But I think we're this kind of weird midpoint where we can just about be considered accessible, but at the same time then we have our moments of like pure metal brutality.
For most of you, is pop punk a genre that sort of it'd be difficult not to play? So if someone said, "Oh, do you want to be in an indie band?" Would you kind of find that kind of difficult, or can you sort of? I'm sure you can do it, but is it easy to channel that in a different way? Because I mean, if you're a guitar player, you're a guitar player. But is it sort of? Do you feel most at home with pop punk?
Well, we're all quite musical, and we all listen to a lot of different kinds of music. Me and Ben, and maybe even Ruby sometimes head into like a lot of indie bands and things like that. Chris will be listening to Iron Maiden and
jazz and all sorts.
Yeah. But that goes for all of us. Like you'll all find us always listening to different things. We've all got slightly different tastes, but pop punk's where like it stands for like most of the time. And so I don't think it'd be difficult to be changing genres and playing some pieces of music that are a bit different, but pop punk's the main thing. So.
It's the thing that kind of pulls like us, our group of people together, and like I was saying, there's different like influences in there, like Chris and my kind of like metal listening. There's certainly elements of there which I've taken from much heavier bands than like you perhaps expect, but yeah, and there's also real like pop like elements to it. Like I'd never rule out sitting down and listening to some
Don't say Kesha.
I'm gonna say Kesha because I think there's merit in that as well, and I think the fact that we all have such different influences kind of helps us as a band to not just be like another Blink-182 impersonation,
Although I would love that. I'm not gonna lie.
Sick 182.
Yeah.
I've got quite the same ring to it, but
And notably, you were in the Future Sound Nottingham final last year, 2016, and you got to play Rock City main stage because of that. How was that? Because you'd not really been together for too long, if I'm correct, at that point. And I know you had a different drummer at the time. But, sorry, that wasn't like... how was that? Because it must have been massive just to play Rock City in the first like few months of even being.
I think it was our second gig. Was that our second gig?
Yeah, second show.
So that was a bit, very mad for us, obviously. But we all had like such an amazing time. It was completely, we did not expect to get that far in the competition, to be honest. So
We entered the song like this was our first single, and like even we didn't like it. We were just like, you know what, like there's no cost, there's nothing associated with it, we'll just throw our hat in the ring, see what happens. And when we got to the semi-final, we were all like buzzing. We were like, because we got, I think it was like 4th judges vote or something like that out of like 55 Nottingham artists. It was like, that's ridiculous. Like that song was nowhere near well, in our opinion, we didn't think it should have reached anywhere near that. And I think that it was quite, yeah, it was just pretty astounding. And then the public vote, like that year we broke their voting record, which has then since been broken again this year. So like about 4, yeah. So I mean, this year was a lot kind of like bigger voting numbers wise, but you know, we broke their record. And we couldn't genuinely believe that after like 2 months of being in a band. So the entire experience was incredible, and like playing Rock City at the end of it, I think people possibly could have told that we weren't expecting it by the time that we were out there on stage, just kind of like staring out at like 700 people playing the instruments, like whoa, okay.
And did you ever have any sort of, you know, sights for winning it? Because obviously, you know, you say you got to the semi-final and then you got all these votes. Did you kind of think, okay, so we kind of know where the votes have come from, it's going to be a lot more difficult to succeed in the final? Or did you just kind of have no idea?
Well, we were pretty open-minded going into it. Like, I think that all of us would have said, oh yeah, like we're here. We certainly weren't there just to kind of like play it and take it. We were there to try and win it.
Oh, yeah,
and I think frankly what happened is we played, we felt it went really well. Then I think 2 later the winners came on, Super Furniture, and we were just like, right, okay, that's it, boys. Like literally at that moment after their set finished, we thought, you know what, if they win it, we're perfectly happy, because they were exceptional and we were starstruck.
I think
but
we tried a bit too hard when we were on the stage, didn't we, looking back? But
yeah, I think
it was
we
worth it, so who cares?
Yeah, we were just a bit surprised to be there. And I think that what happened is they went out, and I'm sure they were all nervous as anything too, but they really approached it with swagger, whereas we kind of approached it with an excited, like gleeful.
We were just there in our own world, like
like just kind of like not really believing what was happening. But you know, we had a great time, so you know, winning it at the end of the day, still look back on it fondly. We don't feel any kind of like bitterness.
Yeah,
whatsoever.
of course.
So
yeah,
it was awesome.
And since then, you've released an EP at the beginning of the year, and you've been on tour, which is cool. You know, how many dates was it? 4 or 5?
Yeah, 4.
Yeah.
4.
So how was that? What was it difficult to sort of make the decision? Not even sort of, you know, get it all together and organise all the venues and whatever. Was it difficult to say, right, let's go on tour? Did you feel you're prepared enough? Obviously, with the EP just been released, were you kind of a bit more confident in saying, right, yeah, let's do this?
It was a massively difficult decision for us, because like we're all still sixth form students, except Chris is a bit older.
The older one.
And so we knew that we were going to have to be dashing in and out of Nottingham every day, but like we just thought it's too good an opportunity to turn down, really, I think. And we're really, really pleased. There was certainly a point at which we all turned around and went, okay, let's just look at it and think, this is ridiculous. Logistically, it doesn't make any sense to go in and out of Nottingham every single day. We're going to be exhausted, we're going to be shattered. And I think by the end of it, no one regrets the decision to go on tour. I think that
That's right.
but we did have help. Like, it wasn't largely us coordinating it, it was somebody else. We like had to just kind of like sort out our Nottingham part of it, which was kind of honestly one of the most easy things, because like DHP, you just kind of go,
just made it
we'll
so
do it.
simple
And
for us,
yeah,
didn't
they made that part of it a lot easier for us once we got the email sent off. But yeah, like it was kind of like the coordination of logistics just seemed insane at the time, but we're so glad that we did it. It was a great experience,
and everything ran smoothly when we were there, so
we were
had no
we
issues
were
when we were on
waiting for
tour.
something to go wrong.
yeah,
And-
particularly on the Nottingham show.
And yeah, on the Nottingham show, we were so like, I was so stressed. I was just pacing up and down, like
Yeah, just things like timings for all the bands to go on and stuff like that, but
yeah.
it all worked out well and we had a great time.
But we had that one scare, because when we got to Newcastle, so we drove up to Newcastle, so 3.5 hour car journey, and we had to get like back for the next day because Chris had an
I
exam.
had an exam at 10 a.m.
And so we drove all the way up to Newcastle, and then the power went out during the first band throughout like the entire venue.
For like
So
40 minutes, something
Yeah, so it was like 30-40 minutes of a power cut, and we were just sat there thinking, oh my gosh, we've driven all the way to Newcastle to come and play a show, and the power goes out and we've got to drive all the way home again.
Watch one band play a song and a half, and that's what you get.
Yeah, but no, we played that, and I think Newcastle was one of the coolest days on the tour. Like there was a good crowd in there, and you know, the Geordies.
The last one. Saying goodbye to everyone, and we had a photo, and like we got on the roof of the van, and like it was sick.
That's a pretty cool photo, to be fair. What's next then? So you've done sort of, well, we're 8 months into the year already. What is the next step for Homesick? Obviously, I know a couple of things. I don't know if you want me to say anything, but what is the progression now?
Well, EP number 2 is on the way. So we were in the studio yesterday, laying down the drum tracks. So we think it's going to be a 4-track EP released at some point later in the year. So that's kind of all we can really say on it for now, in terms of like actual details about it.
Not got anything else.
But yeah, hopefully that's going to be really, really good. There should be a release show for that later on. Fingers crossed, you know. And yeah, EP number 2 should be cool.
And you said later this year. That's brave. Do you think that's doable in the 4 months?
We've sat down and written a load of dates down on a piece of paper, but ultimately, you know, they don't mean anything until you start actually doing stuff and doing the work. We've got plans, we've got things that we really want to do for it, and ultimately this time we're completely prioritising quality of like the product we're going to be releasing over anything else. So if that means that it's into next year, we're not too fussed.
But I think it's also nice having a deadline so that we know we need to aim for that time rather than just letting it sit and not doing anything with it like we did last time. So hopefully give us a bit more motivation.
I mean, yeah, last time we recorded in July or something, and it didn't end up coming out until January next year. This year now gone, but yeah, so this time we're in August, and we'd like to kind of bring that time like right down, because we don't feel like it needed that much time. There was just a lot of problems with the last one that we didn't kind of like anticipate for, but learning experience in it. So.
Okay, so as a final question on all of my interviews, I ask each member for one sort of standout musician or vocalist, in your case Ruby, that is sort of I never know how to word it, but you know, the sort of pinnacle of music for you, and that kind of inspires you to do what you do musically and as a person, I guess. You know, he wants to go first.
Chris, do you want?
Yeah, I've got one. It's a jazz bassist called Victor Wooten. He just plays like solo stuff, and he's just amazing. That's all I've got to say about him.
Fair enough.
He's just a machine.
Cool. You next.
Yeah, I'll go. Travis Barker from Blink-182. Just speed and power. Just played for so long now. He's 40 yard, and he still plays like 2-hour long sets. We're like so fast, and yeah, it's just mad. So Travis Barker.
Yeah, I'll jump in after that because mine's another generic Blink-182 one. I'm gonna go with Tom DeLonge because I think that there's something for me, if you ignore all the bizarre alien stuff that he's got into now, like. There's something for me about a guy who wasn't very good at playing guitar and wasn't very good at singing, but wrote songs with 4 chords that galvanised like an entire generation of people. That just, you know, that is kind of the aspiration for me. Like, I know I'm not the best singer, I know I'm not the best guitar player, but songwriting wise, some of their songs are so like perfectly simple that I think that would be, you know, my call for it.
So Ruby.
Yeah, I'm going to be that typical person who struggles to pinpoint one.
Yeah, no, it's a difficult question.
Yeah, but it's got to be just Neck Deep as a whole, as the band that really got me into pop punk and inspired me to be in a band like this today.
Cool, fair enough. All of Neck Deep, that's fine.
Yeah, all of them.
Homesick, thank you very much. I look forward to the fruits of your summer recording, and yeah, I'm sure you'll crop up on the channel again soon.
Awesome.
Thank you very much.
Thanks. See you later.